Who is the working class wordsmith? I am. I'm Michelle Conklin. I was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana, to a single, first-generation, college-educated mother. She split with my biological father when I was 5.5 months old. He suffered from untreated PTSD after serving in Vietnam and died from alcoholism when I was 14. I only met him twice. Just before I turned 6, we moved to Garden City, Michigan to be near Mom's boyfriend at the time, who would become the only dad I've ever known. He was a test driver, then prototype mechanic, then supervisor at the GM Proving Grounds in Milford. Mom worked as an accountant for Ford Motor Credit, then later a tax preparer, and finally started her own tax prep and bookkeeping business. Dad also came from a big family who welcomed me with open arms. That's me shielding my face on the far left. And took embarrassing pics like this to post on Facebook years later. Thanks, my cousin Kathy Kopp. We moved to Brighton just before my sophomore year in high school, which put me in a much better school system. However, that meant it also took me a year and a half to catch up with my new classmates. At my prior school, we still had U.S. history textbooks in the early 80s that read, "Maybe someday man will reach the moon." After high school, I moved to Kalamazoo to attend Western Michigan University to earn my bachelor's degree. I had 2 majors, political science and English with an emphasis in community journalism. I wanted to be a newspaper reporter, which I was for 5.5 years. Just didn't know when I graduated that most of the print reporting jobs were about to disappear, in spite of getting lots of clips as an undergrad working for the Western Herald. Fast forward 5.5 years. After working at several local newspapers in Florida and Michigan, writing about 2,500 articles and earning 3 Michigan Press Association awards, I decided to become a secondary teacher. I worked 2 years in Michigan, earned my Master of Arts in Teaching degree at Wayne State University, and moved to Baltimore, where I met my good friend, longtime roomie, and textbook co-author Greg Butler. After working in Baltimore City and the suburbs of both Baltimore and Washington, D.C., I was having the same problem, butting heads with principals. Fortunately, Greg helped me get in the door at Harford Community College, where I taught as an adjunct writing professor for 7 years. During that time, after learning my current master's degree wouldn't help me get a full-time job, I earned a second master's degree in English with writing and teaching criticism focus at Westchester University in Pennsylvania. About halfway through, the higher ed jobs were changing, even for community colleges. They wanted people with doctoral degrees. I wanted full-time work, but I didn't want any more student loan debt. Fortunately, George Mason University accepted me into the Writing and Rhetoric program with a full-time teaching assistantship. That's where I am now. I'll admit it, I've written a lot and I've read a lot. I have alphabet soup after my name, Michelle L. Conklin, M-A-T-M-A, and I'm adding some more. So how can someone like me call herself the working class wordsmith? Because I haven't forgotten who I am or my roots. Having degrees doesn't mean you don't have struggles. I drove the same car for 16.5 years. When my mom was diagnosed with both vascular dementia and Alzheimer's during my second semester at Mason, I became her legal guardian and found a small group home near me in Virginia where she received excellent care until she died in December 2021. I kept my promise to make sure she could vote, although there were some barriers. Another story for another day. My partner Kurt and I are fixing up an older condo north of Washington, D.C., balancing how to pay bills, making our cars last, saving some money, and getting out of town enough to prevent ourselves from going crazy. I write, I research, I teach, and I want people everywhere to feel confident enough about filtering through the noise to separate fact from opinion, truth from lies, and verifiable information from disinformation. We're all in this together. No single person can solve our problems. It's going to take all of our heads together to identify what the facts are and decide how to make our communities, our nations, and our world a better place to be. I don't know everything, but I've learned a lot in about 25 years of researching, writing, and teaching. If you want to stop feeling like you're stuck in the spin cycle, join me as I share what I know and find answers to new questions.